Whew, it's a good thing I found this. It's been over a month since my last Nicolas Cage review. I was starting to go through withdrawal. I feel like Willy's Wonderland is what happens when you get 4 people together in a room to write a movie and none of them can maintain one thought for more than a few seconds. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Also, spoiler alert, I guess, since I'm going to talk about the ending, but this is a movie that you can't really spoil since all the plot twists are pretty easy to see coming and it's more about the spectacle than the story, so I wouldn't be too concerned. This movie opens at yet another creepy Chuck E. Cheese type place, and then a bunch of people die. You know, like people do. Off to a flying start. From there, we cut to Angry Joe speeding down the road before hitting some spike strips and having to go get his car towed to the nearby podunk dirt water. Turns out he doesn't have the money to get his car fixed, so he agrees to work it off by helping to clean the derelict Willy's Wonderland. That's the place from the name of the movie. While this is going on, we're introduced to this girl who, for some reason, still has an accent despite being raised by this lady, who is both an abusive mother figure and the sheriff of the aforementioned podunk dirtwater. The girl gets caught doing a mischief, so the sheriff handcuffs her to a bar and a trailer and decides to leave her there overnight, but not to worry, the Burger King Kids Club arrives and busts her out and they decide to go save Angry Joe from the killer mascots. Oh, yeah, they know about the killer mascots. It's a whole thing, you'll see. Oh, and none of them can act. The writers were savvy enough to get around Nicolas Cage's special brand of hit-and-miss acting by just not giving him any lines, and that's the story I'm sticking with, and not that SAG requires different wages for people who actually have lines. But they probably should have just done the same with the rest of these characters, because they're kind of jarringly bad. Like early to now 2000s American TV acting bad.
Gee, thanks for the help, guys.
Yeah, burn, baby, burn.
Whatever you say.
Anyway, cutting back to the silent protagonist, he's settling into his new job pretty nicely, chugging energy drinks and cleaning until he's interrupted by a mechanical ostrich who is only slightly less aggressive and Satan-powered than regular ostriches. Ostriches? Ostrichi? Ostriches. So the ostrich is like, I'm gonna feast on your face! When he's like, nah, I brought a mop, and he kicks the shit out of the ostrich, but all I'm thinking is, okay, he broke that mop handle over his knee, and then he used the pieces to absolutely wreck this ostrich's shit, even though its skull is made of metal. So A, how strong is that mop handle, and B, how fucking strong is his knee? Anyway, he beats the ostrich, and then his alarm goes off, so it's break time, and he moseys off for another energy drink and some pinball. Then we get a montage of him cleaning the bathrooms when all of a sudden he hears a voice talking about how he's gonna eat him and all of that, and he starts searching the stalls for the owner of said voice. Eventually, he gets to the last stall and whack! Surprise gorilla. But where was he? I mean, it's established that these motherfuckers are evil, but they still have to obey the laws of physics. I mean, they can move pretty fast, but I don't think they can teleport or anything. And he can't have been crouched down low because Cage checks the floor first, so the only place he could have been was, like, up here. But if he was, how was he not clearly visible above the stall wall? I don't know, I'm thinking way too hard about this. Anyway, Nicolas Cage pounds gorilla butt. That came out wrong. He beats up the gorilla and then f***s off for another energy drink and some pinball. And dude, how many of those have you had so far? You're gonna fucking die. Your kidneys are gonna turn into raisins. I drank 2 Red Bulls in a night once and I think my heart stopped for a solid 34 seconds and I could smell the color 7. Anyway, while all this is going on, the Scooby Gang gets to the place and starts splashing gasoline on it while having the world's most useless argument. Why is it useless? Well, because it just doesn't come up again in any way, shape, or form. They might as well have just freeze-framed and been like, these two don't get along, these two are banging, 50% of the people in the shot wish they were banging. So anyway, the main girl decides to go in alone and help get Nicolas Cage out. Not that he was asking. And then a bunch of stuff happens, including a couple of really nicely put-together scenes of her getting chased by the animatronics and the rest of the Goonies going after her, and they all meet Nicolas Cage in the main dining area. Then they try to convince him to escape with them, and he's like, but then they notice the dead animatronics and garbage cans, and they're all like, oh, wow, cool. And I thought this was the moment it clicked for them, that he's fully aware the mascots are dangerous and doesn't really give a shit. But apparently not, because now we get some of the worst exposition since Plan 9 from outer space.
This town has a dark history, and it all starts with this horrible place.
They are the dead, brought to a simulated life by our electrode guns.
Sincerely, this part is just awful. Don't do this. I would have been just as happy not knowing why the animatronics are evil, or just having it explained in flashback or something. This is no good. Moving on, the Dead Poets Society splits up for some fucking reason, and Cage keeps beating up the mascots while the others keep getting killed off one by one, and honestly, did you expect them to survive? Shame on you. Actually, this bothers me a little, because they make it entirely clear that they are fully aware that the animatronics are evil and alive, but they all keep doing shit as if they have no clue. So spoiler-ish alert right here, because I'm going to explain why the robots are alive. It's the devil. The devil did it. Well, a bunch of serial killers made a deal with the devil to do it, which begs the question, the one that wears a sombrero and only speaks Spanish, did the guy whose soul is inside it also only speak Spanish, and it's just a coincidence that he happened to end up in the turtle that only speaks Spanish, or was he trying to speak English the entire time and it keeps coming out as Spanish, or what's the deal with that? Anywho, eventually it comes down to the main girl and Cage versus weird lizard thingy, but then Cage's alarm goes off and he just kind of goes, shit, hold on, and fucks off for more caffeine and pinball before coming back to finish the job. Suddenly, the sheriff shows up and holds Cage at gunpoint. Badly. That is not how you hold one of those. You pull that trigger and at best you clonk yourself right in the head with the barrel when it kicks up. Anyway, they tie Cage up and leave him at the mercy of the remaining animatronics, and the sheriff decides to stay behind to make sure he gets deaded and sends the main girl home with another cop. The two end up getting ambushed by the turtle animatronic on the way, and the cop gets killed, and she tries to shoot the turtle but can't because he stole 2 shells out of what is at least a 7-round shotgun. Maybe in the script it was supposed to be a double barrel or an over-under and someone of the props f***ed up. Maybe the cops around here only load 2 rounds at a time, but that just seems like a waste of space. I'm getting sidetracked. Long story short, the big orange cat kills the sheriff and tries to kill Cage, but he kicks the ever-loving shit out of it and goes right back to cleaning the place like if RoboCop was a janitor. Then he leaves. Yeah, he just kind of leaves, taking the main girl person with him to further adventures or something. I guess. So that's Willy's Wonderland. And you know what? It's a fun little movie. I don't say this often, but it's a movie that I hope gets a sequel of some sort. I mean, it's not a perfect movie. It has some weird plot holes, and if you're not interested in flashing lights, campy action, and horror tropes, it's not going to do it for you. But fortunately, I am into all those things, and what this movie does well, it does really well. They managed to strike a great balance between weird and overly bizarre when it comes to Cage's character. He never speaks, has borderline supernatural ass-kicking abilities, and seems to have a near fatal level of OCD, but he feels oddly grounded and believable all the same, and I wouldn't mind seeing more of him. The side characters all serve their roles fairly well, even if some of them can't really act. And I think they do a good job rounding out the cast without making anyone feel like they're extra or weighing the plot down too much with any one of them at any given time. I also enjoy that they tell the story both from the victim's point of view and from the point of view of the people perpetuating the crimes. That's a really cool little twist, and I thought it added a lot to the movie. All in all, really fun action horror film that doesn't take itself too seriously, and as long as you don't either, I think it's more than worth a watch. Anyway, that's all for now. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you next time.